You number my wanderings. Put my tears into your bottle. Are they not in your book? When I cry out to you, then my enemies will turn back. This I know, because God is for me. In God I will praise his word. In the Lord I will praise his word. In God I have put my trust. I will not be afraid. What can man do to me? Vows made to you are binding upon me, O God. I will render praises to you. For you have delivered my soul from death. Have you not kept my feet from falling, that I may walk before God in the light of the living? What are the fears that just eat us alive? Well, the source text actually gives us a list that sounds like it could have been written yesterday. I mean, look at this list from the source material. It's so direct. You've got flesh, people, man, then you've got the big stuff, right? Evil, war, sufferings. It basically covers everything from our personal safety to these huge existential threats. And the core argument here is that these anxieties, they shouldn't get the final word in our lives. And boom, this is the pivot. This is where everything changes. Because think about it. Most advice you hear is get rid of your fear. Be fearless. But this ancient wisdom says, hold on a second. What if you didn't eliminate it? What if you just redirected it? It's not about fearing less. It's about aiming your fear at a completely different target. So where does this whole idea come from? Well, the key is tucked away in this incredibly powerful metaphor from Psalm 56. And it suggests something really profound, that the foundation for real, unshakable trust, it isn't built when life is easy. It's forged right in the fire, in the middle of our pain. Just take a second and really think about this imagery. It's absolutely stunning. This isn't some distant clockmaker God who just wound things up and left. No, this is a God who is so incredibly attentive that he's counting your steps, collecting your tears in a bottle, writing it all down in a book. The point here is radical, mind-blowing intimacy. It's this idea of a complete, total awareness of every single bit of our suffering. We're talking 100%, not 99, 100. I mean, how often do we feel like we're struggling all alone, like nobody sees it? Well, this text makes a radical claim. It says it's not just the big headline tragedies that get noticed. It's every single tear, every single anxious thought. Nothing gets missed. That is the foundation we're building on. And you know, this isn't just supposed to be some nice poetic comfort. It's actually being presented as the logical starting point for a complete revolution in how we see our lives. Because think about it. If someone knows you that well, that intimately, it completely changes the game when it comes to trust, doesn't it? Okay, so this idea of intimate, total awareness, it leads us straight to a major fork in the road. The sources frame it as a very stark choice. What are you going to fear more, man or God? So check this out. On the left, you've got that list of earthly threats we just talked about. But look over on the right. The sources give us a totally different list of things to fear. And we need to be clear here. Fear in this context is much closer to awe or reverence or deep, deep respect. The whole idea is to shift our focus away from the temporary things that can harm us and reorient it towards something permanent, something higher. And here it is. This is the formula. This is the money quote, the key takeaway from the commentary on this psalm. It's a direct relationship. The total fear of God will totally eliminate the fear of man. The more awe and trust you place in God, the less and less power the fear of other people has over your life. Simple as that. It's like a seesaw, a perfect inverse relationship. As your reverence for God goes up, your fear of man automatically goes down. In fact, the sources suggest something pretty challenging. You can actually measure how much you trust God by looking at how much you fear what other people think or what they might do to you. Kind of puts things in perspective, right? Okay, so this all sounds great in theory, but how do you actually activate this trust? Well, it's not a passive thing. It's not something that just happens to you. The text is very clear that it requires a deliberate, humble action from us. You know, the source really hits on this fundamental conflict inside all of us. Our default mode, our factory setting, is self-sufficiency. It's, I got this. I can handle it. But the path to freedom that's described here, it's the polar opposite. It's all about humble reliance. It's about having the guts to admit, you know what? I don't got this. And then actually crying out for help. And the text says that's the moment. When we do that, that deliverance begins. And man, that really gets to the heart of the matter, doesn't it? Why is it so hard to just ask for help? The source suggests it's because it cuts right against our pride. It's a blow to our ego, to that deep-seated desire to be in control, to be our own God. It takes real humility. This brings up another really key action word, to commit. It literally just means to entrust something to someone, to give it over for safekeeping. And the logic from the Apostle Paul that the sources point to is so simple, but it's profound. God can only keep what we actually give him. If we're still white-knuckling our fears, we haven't actually committed them. We haven't handed them over to be kept safe. So what happens? What's the payoff when we actually do this? When we cry out for help, when we commit our fears, when we make that choice to fear God over man? Well, let's take a look at the outcome. The psalm actually lays out a super practical 4-step process. Step 1, praise his word. You ground yourself in what's true. Step 2, that grounding naturally leads you to put your trust in God. Step 3, that trust leads to commitment, to making vows. And step 4, you finish by rendering praises. Basically, thanking God in advance for the deliverance you now fully expect. It's this beautiful self-reinforcing cycle. And this right here, this is the turning point. It's a declaration. It's not a wish or a hope. It's a statement of fact. In God, I have put my trust. It's a conscious decision that's already been made. And the direct result? I will not be afraid. And right on the heels of that powerful declaration comes this triumphant question. It's almost a challenge, right? What can man do to me? Because when your trust is fully, 100% placed in the one who holds the universe together and still has time to collect your tears, suddenly the threat of what another person can do just shrinks. It loses its power. And the promise at the end of all this, it's total. It's comprehensive. We're not just talking about deliverance from everyday problems, but from death itself. Not just protection from harm, but stability, being kept from falling. And the ultimate goal, the freedom to just walk in the light, to live without that constant shadow of fear. And to just hammer this point home, the source material brings up this killer argument from the New Testament. The logic is just so powerful. It basically says, look, if God already handled the biggest problem you could ever possibly have, eternal separation, and he did it by giving up his own son, then how could he not also handle all the smaller stuff, all the lesser fears and problems we face every day? It just makes sense. And that really brings us right back to the beginning, to the final critical question for all of us. The principle is crystal clear. God keeps what we commit to him. So the question was never, is God able? The real question is, are we willing? And it's a challenge, right? It forces us to look at our own lives, our own fears, our own anxieties, and just ask ourselves, what have I actually committed? What have I truly handed over?